Just a minute. Yeah, EDA meeting to order. First, we're going to have a roll call. Okay, Bruce Saunders.
Here.
Lisa McLaughlin.
Here.
Samuel Rice.
Here.
Billy Barrick.
Here.
Karen Bryce Rowland.
Here.
Roy Carter is here, and Tom Richardson could not make it today. So, first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes of July the 18th. Have you all had a chance to read those over? Do you see any corrections or anything that needs to be changed?
My apologies for getting the meeting packets to you so late.
Yeah, I have not had a chance to look at these.
You've got a few things on your plate. We'll cut you some slack. Okay, hearing no objections or changes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Oh, you moved second.
And second?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. I don't see Don here, so John, are you going to give the financial status
Yeah,
report?
I'll give the financial report.
Thank you.
As of October 17th, 2024, the community partnership checking has a beginning balance. There was a beginning balance of July 18th, 2024 of $53,164.64. Credits interest earned for July, August, and September, $12.38, for a total of $53,177.02. Debits, a grant to Rappahannock Art League at the last meeting of $10,000. Leaving us an ending balance as of today of $43,177.02. The domestic government unit CD, beginning balance as of July 18th, 2024 of $41,037.80. Credits interest earned for July, August, and September, $706.77. For a total of $41,744.57. No debits. That's the ending balance as of today. The EDA currently has an annual revenue of approximately $16,613 from all administrative fees collected throughout the year on prior bond issuances, broken down as follows. The County 2022 bond, $6,250 was due in August. And the Mariners Museum, $6,668 was due in October, or is due this October, this month. James Berry Robinson School, $3,695 is due in December. And that concludes the financial report. Any questions?
No, but I have a request.
What's that?
I said no, but I have a request.
Okay.
Would it be possible to do maybe like a 1 or 2 year cash flow statement just with, that shows the balances anticipated based on the revenue we expect? Just save us a minute of math and then we can also see the future out based on what we expect. I don't even
Okay.
care about the interest, just the grants and then anticipated money from the county that if we have any at the time.
We can work on that.
Okay. And I'm thinking like something that would be 5 minutes of work. If it's more than that, then don't worry about it. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
okay.
John, I have a question. The bonds that were due from the county and Mariners Museum, have they been received?
What's that? I don't know, Roy. I'll have to check into that.
Okay.
This reflects everything as of October 17th. So because it says that was due in August 2024. So that would have been received. It would be reflected if it had been received, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the Mariners Museum, I believe they have till the end of October.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. I'd like to See if anyone would make a motion to approve the financial report.
Motion to approve?
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. John, you'd sent us some updates from previous awardees. Do you want to read those and let us know?
Yeah, I can do that. I had a chance last month to meet with the owner of Old Farm Truck Market and to tour some of the improvements that have been made on that site by the owner of the building. So they received an award in Q3, quarter three of 2023 of $5,000 to match an agricultural grant to purchase a refrigeration unit and a display freezer. They were not awarded the agricultural grant, but they did purchase a refrigeration unit for the kitchen, totaling $2,300. They purchased a display freezer for the retail store, a total of $3,000. And they now lease the rebuilt open-air farmers market that's adjacent to them. And as of when I met with them, they were going to be in charge of scheduling market days. And I believe that was probably going to start taking place in the spring. They're also building out the back of their store. There's a room in the back of the store that they want to build out to possibly serve food. So they're kind of working on those plans.
That's awesome.
So I think that turned out to be a pretty good investment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The community really supports them, and they really support all the farmers.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win, I think.
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to get the big agricultural grant, and I think they thought they would too, but they'll be up and applying for it again. I think that was a $25,000 grant that they were going to open again.
I know when I needed rhubarb, they had rhubarb. So I was very happy about that. That Dan Mary Brewing, you may remember, received a grant in quarter two of this year of $10,000 for the build-out of the brewery to restart brewing operations from their move from Gloucester. Specifically, they requested funding for refrigeration, water, and drainage. So they purchased a used walk-in cooler. They dismantled it and are reassembling it on site. That was a total of $7,000. Installation of reverse osmosis water system, $2,000. Installation of water connections to their brewing tanks and to the reverse osmosis water system, $1,500. Installation of floor drainage, a total of $5,500. So the total investment was $16,000. Add to that the investment for the build-out of the brewery and tap house by the developer, who's kind of doing it as a loan. Right now, they're at $110,000 total spent in that build-out. They have a soft opening this Saturday. They're going to be open all day for people to come in and out and sample their beer. They've had another brewer brewing their beer I think it's on loan, something like that. They have a deal where somebody else is brewing their beer until they get their equipment operational, which it currently is not. Then they have a VIP event on November 9th that me and Roy are going to be attending.
Just the two of you? Where's my invite?
We'll get you an invite.
Come as my guest.
Yeah. Oh, I'll come as Lisa's guest. Okay. We're good.
Okay. So there we go. Anyway, I think that was looks like that was a great investment by this authority, and it's going to be great to have a brewery, an actually operational brewery in the county, and so now I can turn my attention to recruiting the next one.
Yes, please.
Unified Development LLC, in Q2 of this year, you all awarded them $10,000 for survey and site planning for a new affordable housing development up the county. Initial land clearing has been scheduled, and a well driller's been retained. They've identified the need for a community well to serve all the units. They've ordered a model home, but they're kind of awaiting siting. They have to wait for the land to be cleared. That'll be constructed by Cardinal Homes. Site planning and survey work is not completed yet, and they've basically asked for some additional time, 30 days, so we can provide you all an update at the next meeting in January as to whether that's been completed. And if you'll recall, the $10,000 was specifically for the site planning and surveying work.
But it looks like it was contracted with Connemara.
It looks like it was contracted with Connemara.
That's good.
Uh,
Okay.
Pruitt, I believe.
Okay, sweet.
And that concludes grantee updates. Any questions? Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. We don't need any approval on that. Thank you for the update. We have a grant request today from Home Access Solutions, and Thomas Wilson is the presenter. And, you know, we're fairly informal. Just let us know what you plan to do, and let's see if we can help you. Yeah, go ahead and get on the microphone.
All right. Hello, good morning. My name's Thomas, and I'm starting a business in Whitestone called Home Access Solutions. We're using aging in place principles to allow people who are getting older and face mobility issues to stay in their homes rather than having to move out to a facility or maybe get in-home care. This allows them to increase their quality of life and be able to easily access the exterior of their home as well as get around inside their home. So for the start, what we're doing is installing aluminum ramps. Aluminum, it's light, it's never going to rot, it's never going to rust, there's no maintenance. And it's just, they're all ADA compliant. It's the safest way to get someone in and out of their home. From there, we plan on using subcontractors to do further home renovations. So people who have more chronic illnesses and need like countertops lowered or a sit-down shower, things like that. And then from there, we plan on selling medical equipment at a location in Whitestone. So all mobility-based, things like power scooters, wheelchairs, walkers. So that's where we're starting, and requesting this grant for some inventory. So right now, how it works is I'd order it from New York. It takes 4 to 5 days to get to me, then have to install it, which is fine when we have the time. But a lot of times, as most people know, medical issues are unexpected. Someone could fall, have an injury, and be discharged from the hospital the next day. So my plan is to stock a bunch of ramping. It's all modular. It's not special order. Stock it all so we could be out there within 24 hours putting up a ramp in case of a medical emergency. So that's the plan.
Did you say you're in Whitestone?
Yes, sir.
And you plan to have medical equipment? What, do you have a store yet? A storefront?
Yeah, so my partner in this is Northern Neck Fence and Gutter.
Uh-huh.
I'm in their building.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm on the side where Windy FM is. That's my office over there. So they have a warehouse that,
Right.
I'm leasing from them.
Got it. I have a question.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I looked at your brochure. Did you all produce this brochure, or is this a franchise, or?
No, we got it. It's a company down in, the brochure that is a company down in North Carolina. The guy set it up for us, but this isn't a franchise or anything. We made it.
So all of the ramps will be metal
Yes, sir.
ramps?
What is, oh,
Go ahead, no, you actually.
Can you tell us about what the retail cost is, what you're selling these for, and how much this request how much inventory it would afford you?
Right. So roughly retail cost, it depends on the size of the ramp, obviously, and the platforms as well. If there's a bunch of turns in it, it gets more expensive. But it's about $150 to $160 per foot. So for ADA guidelines, if you go up 1 inch, you have to go out a foot. So a 1 foot rise, which isn't much going into house, you need a 12-foot ramp. So, so this grant would be about 2 or 3 ramps total, roughly, just depending on the size of them. The average ramp's about 20 feet, so about 60 feet of ramping. And that would allow us to at least have time to replenish inventory between jobs. So we could still have some on hand to stock people, get it out quick, and then replenish it after that. So,
Thank you.
How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
employees do you have currently?
say again?
How many employees do you have currently?
Me and my business partner.
And your partner,
Two.
awesome. What is your intention for growth in terms of employees?
So for the first year, probably just be us two.
Okay.
Just to get it off the ground, get things going. My intention is to have a couple teams of installers. Obviously, I'm serving this county. We're based in here, and all the calls have been this county first. But I plan on going all the way to like the Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula area, maybe down to Yorktown, Williamsburg, and up towards Dahlgren. So it's going to depend on how much business there is for it, and especially with the DME too. Probably need people to run the retail store as well.
Sure.
But yeah, I plan on within maybe a year or so having a couple crews that could do it.
Okay. And what is the typical hourly wage for someone you would pay to do that kind of work?
So you do have to get certified. It is a specialty.
Okay.
So I went up to New York actually last week. It's about 25 an hour, somewhere in there.
That would be good for this area. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much.
Does, to the recipient, do any of them qualify if they're over 65? Does Medicare help with expenses of something like this if it's doctor ordered or?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. With
It doesn't.
Medicare and Medicaid, it doesn't cover it. I've tried to talk to some people about it. It's the issue where it's not, I think, necessary medical equipment is the term. Being that it's not keeping them alive, they won't cover it.
Okay.
That being said, though, I just got certified to work with the VA and workers' comp. So I'm a certified installer for them. So if anyone has VA benefits or they get injured on a job site and workers' comp is covering it, we can do that. They'll cover it, and we'll just do the labor. So
Awesome. There's a, so in case, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a group called SAWS, S-A-W-S. It's a nonprofit that pays for ramps for those in need. And I think they have a problem with installers from time to time, so that might be a really good opportunity.
Yeah.
They have somebody in the Fredericksburg area.
Okay.
I think he was retiring, so I'm not sure it'd be a good resource, but I will look into that, and that
Yeah.
could be an avenue for those in need that could be
Definitely so.
sponsored, but you're
Yeah.
still paid for
Is
the
it
work.
SAWS out of Fredericksburg?
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
national. It's national nonprofit, but I'm pretty sure the Fredericksburg area. The gentleman who used to lead that area was Charlie Russell.
Okay.
I think he's retired, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be a good avenue, because that's
Yeah.
one challenge I face is just, they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're aluminum ramps. A lot of people, we are doing leases and rentals for people who obviously can recover, don't need it for very long. But I'd like to serve everyone that I can. So I've been dealing with social services and Bay Aging, Interfaith, The Link, just some charitable organizations to allow people with less means to still get a good ramp and not have to put in anything dangerous or, something that would, God forbid, end up them getting injured again on a dangerous ramp.
Sure.
So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may. I talked with our Director of Housing, Tina Reamer, and, often the county fields requests from residents for assistance, and this is a request that we get quite often, is this kind of ADA accessibility. And I can say, considering the demographic and population of the county and the region, medical supply is an industry and business that we want to, grow here. We want to have supplies here. I know, in having trouble finding my mother stuff like this, there's very few operators in the state, and so being able to establish that here in the Northern Neck and in Lancaster is probably a good thing in the long run.
Thank you. I was about to ask what the market research said.
yeah.
And I,
One of the additional outfits I think you should make connection with is hospice,
Yes, sir.
because I know when we were dealing with such things, you can get wheelchairs and all kinds of equipment from them.
Right.
But when it comes to getting in and out of the house, they
Exactly.
don't do it.
Yeah, no,
And we had to scramble and build something.
exactly.
To ourselves
Yeah.
and make it happen.
So I've been up to Tappahannock and met with the hospice people up there, also RGH. So yeah, but that's definitely one of the issues too, is a lot of these people who get discharged, they'll get you in the house, but after that, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So if you have a medical appointment you need to get out to, got to be quick putting in a ramp.
And I agree with John. I mean, other than getting online and trying to order something and get
Right.
it in here and assemble it yourself, you really have no other choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody Anybody else have any questions?
I'm good. Good idea, Thomas. Thanks for bringing this to the board. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, thank you.
If no one else has any other questions, I'd like to give you guys some cards while I'm here.
Okay.
Awesome.
Have you contacted Carousel yet?
I haven't contacted Carousel. I talked to Belfield. 50 over Carousel, I believe.
I think, yeah. Yes.
Actually, know somebody in need of these services now, so this is perfect timing.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
When we go into, we will end up going into a private session to discuss the merits and how much we can help you out. And if you want to come back after that, you could, but we also will just notify you, right after the meeting, so.
Yeah, I'll call you this afternoon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank you for your
Thank
presentation.
you very much, Tom.
Appreciate it. Okay, let me see if I have my. So, in order to go into private session, I need to read this, the resolution.
Roy, I was going to have us do that at the end.
Okay,
Is
good.
that,
I like
is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I wanted to be mindful of Leslie's time.
Okay. Then next up would be the EDA partnership with Lancaster by the Bay, correct?
Yeah.
Good.
So I can take that away. As Roy certainly knows, and as you all probably know, the Lancaster 2035 plan has a number of strategies, objectives, and goals related to creating a business-friendly environment and fostering a business-friendly environment in Lancaster County. This isn't just for existing businesses. This is for business recruitment, which I endeavor next year to do a lot of. I want to bring high-quality businesses with lots of jobs to the county. And sometimes that means poaching businesses from other areas, but we have to foster an environment here that makes them want to come here. You know, we have an example in that Dan Mary, but she's a local product. We have some other examples in Still Kickin' Seafood, who's decided to open up shop here. Many people like Taryn and Lisa decided to open up shop here. So in order to do that, I feel strongly that the EDA needs to foster a partnership with the Lancaster by the Bay Chamber. And Leslie came on board, and I'll have her introduce herself. But that's the purpose of today's discussion, is to get some updates from her and see where their direction is, but to foster a partnership between the chamber so that we can accomplish some of these objectives and goals.
Great.
Leslie.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm Leslie Jingleski. You don't have to worry about my last name. Just call me Leslie. I'm married into that one. But I've been with the chamber since the middle of July, so it's been a good transition, I think. Still drinking from that fire hydrant. I'm still working on it. We are in the middle of event season. Lots of exciting events coming up. We've got the Candyland event, which is on October 26th. And that should be a really good event. I'm excited. We've got 27 vendors already. The deadline's Friday, so I know how Lancaster works. On Friday, I will get all of the rest of my applications. And then Taste by the Bay. So that is going to be November 23rd. We sold out in 14 minutes, and I had a lot of angry people at me that day. That was 14 minutes.
Now I feel a little better. Thank
Yes,
you.
14 minutes. I clicked the button and I sat there and I watched the dial go like this and I thought, oh no, it's going to be a bad day. And we did. We sold out very quickly. So we are rapidly working on what we can do to it's very popular event. So we'll see. At the risk of being greedy, I think there's more opportunity there for another or a bigger event. So in addition to, because that's a staple, we want to keep that one going. And then the Christmas parade coming up here in December. So we're still hot to trot working on that. And John and I have been working a lot on our partnership. The partnership with you guys is going to be is probably the number one priority for me in the chamber. I feel like it's the two go hand in hand. The chamber's great. The chamber has been running fantastic. I would like to move it in a direction of more service to our business owners. I would like it to be, their chamber. So we're in the process of working on that, and I'm going to have a survey out. Well, I wanted to have it out last week. Let's go January 1. And I'm going to send it out to all of our chamber members and really find out what they need, what they want. I want to add more value to our membership. I want everybody, every business to be a member of the chamber, and not just be a member. I want them to be an active member and have a reason, be excited about it. And I think that starts with a partnership with this group. I think the two go hand in hand. My husband and I have been a business owner for 23 years, so I get it. I know what it's like. We own a restaurant in Richmond, and I know the ins and outs and everything. I understand the staffing part of it. I understand what do you do? You're a business owner. That means I'm a plumber. That means I'm cutting the grass. That means I'm doing everything that needs to be done to make that business happen. And when I say we, I mean my husband. So, but I understand that, and I want to bring that a little bit to the county. So.
Yeah, so I'll add to that. Me and Leslie have had numerous conversations, and I've also had some conversations with Jackie Ammons, who's going to be the outgoing
president. Mm-hmm.
Outgoing president. So one of the goals of under the strategy of creating a business-friendly environment is expanding the function of the EDA. And a lot of these goals are going to require access to the local businesses. And I feel like the chamber is that conduit. They have a really robust membership. And I think by way of us as an EDA determining, what resources, information, and incentives are going to be best for businesses and prospective businesses, and then providing the website or whatever it is to disseminate that information through partnership with the chamber. I think even when it comes to the chamber does an excellent job of promoting local businesses and having the EDA be part of that. So I think one thing that we discussed, Leslie and I, was that the EDA should join the chamber as a member, and it should join the chamber as a top-tier member. And this has the symbolic function of showing a partnership and that the EDA is here for its local businesses. The Board of Supervisors is currently a member at the lowest tier, but we feel that adding the EDA as a member at the highest tier, I think Leslie had maybe mentioned there may be some discount on that because of the symbolic nature of it. But then after that, working to create a meaningful partnership that can actually, so as I work to gather resources, gather information, think about incentives that could be provided to businesses. Roy and I have had conversations about the enterprise zone and other incentive programs. Getting your feedback as business owners and as residents and as EDA board and members, I think we can create a robust package, but I think the conduit to the local businesses is through the chamber. And, one thing that we've been working on is access to our short-term rental owners. I want our short-term rental owners the ones that are providing meaningful visitor experiences, I want them to consider themselves in the hospitality business. You are our hospitality industry. We don't have hotels. And getting the chamber access to them, we've concocted a little scheme
Devious.
No, we keep a registry of short-term rental owners, and we do mailings twice a year to them, and we're going to let the chamber and Virginia's River Realm tag along. But that's just one example of how the chamber can really help us reach those businesses and actually give them something back for what they pay us in a tax. And so I think we replicate that with all the other businesses. So.
Les, I've got a few questions.
Please.
How many members are there in the chamber?
Right now, we are at 307 members.
307?
We are at 307. I have been cleaning up some old, and I think that number's going to rise because I think they may not have received invoices to even know that they have dropped. So but we are at 307. I have a robust goal to increase that a lot.
And the different tiers, is that tied to gross revenues or number of employees?
It's actually
or-
tied on your value. So some of, yes, to answer your question, there are different tiers based on employees. But the higher tiers are more, our enhanced members get more access. They get more recognition, and more things like
So
that.
someone like Thomas, who just presented to us, if he came in as a member, what would?
So he's 120, he actually did join.
Okay, good.
So he is $125, and that's our base, which honestly is a very, very cheap chamber. And I do want to keep that way for quite some time to encourage more businesses to join.
Besides social networking, like this evening at Blue Ridge.
Right, right.
What other benefits do the members get? Do they get discounts on any type of?
They do get
credit card
discounts.
processing or anything like that?
I don't know that we've ever ventured into the credit card processing world. I think there are, and I'm actually going to go to a conference for state chambers to see what other chambers do. I have a meeting with Williamsburg Chamber to kind of see, they have 800 members, so I can learn a lot from them, I believe. But I haven't dove down, you hit a sore spot with merchant services because they are predatory. So I think the first level with merchant services, I would think would be for us to vet some good merchant services to be able to have an access list, to be able to give them, and that's actually a very good idea. This is what happens when I talk out loud. I add more work for myself.
I did the same thing.
But I do think that would be a good idea, and being able to have access to, you do have the networking, but also our visitor guide, as you know, is a big project. It's a big deal, and you have to be a member to be into that visitor guide. So.
Yeah, I had a retail business in Richmond for years. And
Did you?
joined the Retail Merchants Association there, and the benefit package, the first year, it cost me $100 to join, and in the
Okay.
first year, I saved over $800 and some dollars in
Wow.
credit card processing fees, which is a big fee for a small business. They're 3.5% or whatever they are now.
It is.
And when I joined, their program offered you the same benefit as if you were doing $25 million a year. And it reduced my charges from about 2.5% to about 1.75%.
Really?
So there are a lot of benefits, for joining an organization like that, especially with the membership at 300 and some. So,
I would.
yeah, they're
And again, with the merchant services, they are your phone rings off the hook with people, and you switch, and then you realize it was a bad idea because they gave you that intro, and your bank accounts are. It's so having an access to a vetted group that you know is going to help you and not hurt you would be a value in itself. So.
And co-op advertising, do you have anything like that for your
We
membership?
don't, but that is, I'm working on a list of improvements and goals. So that is actually one of the things that's on my list. I would love to have more, fingers in everything. And you're offering that value for the dollar.
Well,
So
hopefully with the EDA's participation and working with you also, we'll try to help in any way we can.
yeah, I'm very excited about this relationship.
You got a lot going on for just being there since July, and a lot of members, so that's great.
I'm working on it. I may not have hair this time next year, but it'll be okay. So.
Yeah, when we talk about creating incentives for local businesses, the enterprise zone's one thing, and that's a really high bar. But the kinds of businesses that we have here that we really love in this county, these small businesses, creating incentives like what you're describing, you got in Richmond, it goes a long way, and it means a lot to the businesses, and it gives them real value for not just their membership, but it shows them that their locality and the people that shop there care. So I think there's a lot of room and a lot of opportunity for exploration about how this partnership can move forward. But I think creating like a package of things that the EDA can offer as incentives, that the county can offer as incentives, coupled with the incentives that a chamber can offer. And then there's the resources and information, if we move forward with these 9 recommendations in the 2035 plan. It's something, the chamber is a piece of that puzzle that we can't do it without. And that's, I feel pretty strongly about that. So,
And I would say likewise for the chamber. I think it's a good relationship on both sides.
yeah. So I think what I would ask you all is if you all would make a decision today whether or not joining the Chamber of Commerce as an EDA is something that has real value, and joining at that top tier to really put us out there. And I know we don't have much to offer right now. We have just a modest grant program, but I think the real value is going to become more than just monetary incentive. That if I'm successful and we're successful in creating these resources that are available to businesses, eventually with an incubator and all these great things, I think we can really accomplish these goals. So
What is the dollar amount for that top tier again?
that's a good question, Leslie. Putting you on the spot. How much is it going to cost us?
So the top tier is the $2,600, but I would say, honestly, I would cut that in half for the symbolic partnership, and I would make that a big deal. So, as I was put on the spot, but it's okay. I think we can definitely cut that in half, and maybe more. I just need to sit down and look. But that would be the top tier membership, and that would be our only top tier right now. Walmart was there. Walmart is not there now.
Did they drop altogether, or?
It was a transition, so I finally got in front of the general manager, and he's great. He's fantastic. There's a lot of red tape involved in getting a membership through Walmart, and we kind of had to start all over with them. So I have a feeling they will not come in at the top tier, which is fine. And honestly, if we could do a top tier membership with you guys, that would be huge. I think it would be a huge symbolic move for this county.
Mhm.
I'm intrigued. Is there documentation on how you guys see the partnership working that we could just review too? Like, do you have goals lined out that we could just kind of
We
dig
have lots
into?
of goals. I don't think we've written them down yet.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is a very good question, Taryn.
I mean, that doesn't impact my wanting to join. I'm just curious.
No, that's fine. So for a good instance, and I think these 9 goals in the 2035 plan are that outline that you're
Okay, I agree.
talking about. So creating a business resource center for local entrepreneurs. The EDA, I see the EDA as in the EDD being the person that puts together these resources, that goes out and collects these resources.
Yeah.
And I hope that our website is the conduit for those resources, but also having the chamber be a disseminator of those resources. So really, it's the way I envision it is more access to the businesses, and then they can be a part of our incentives, a component of the incentives that we provide businesses. And then, really access to their social media followers alone. They have a pretty good following on social media. That helps us.
That is also going to grow. I've laid out a plan to grow our social media, which I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but honestly, it's how people get their information. So we're going to
Yeah.
have to accept it and move on.
And the county's likely going to, pending a decision, is likely going to hire a marketing consultant to help push Lancaster 2035 by telling the stories of local businesses, residents. And so we need to be able to bounce off one another especially from a social marketing standpoint. So those are a couple examples of how I see it working.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm looking at your website, which I haven't been on in a while, and I can see you've done some nice updates.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think that.
Organizationally,
I think it needs some more work, but
Well-
we're getting there.
I'm sure there's always more to do, but it looks nice, and I'm glad to see the enthusiasm and the ideas that you've brought to it. So I think it sounds like a great partnership.
Leslie, the membership, the cost of the membership, is that something that needs you know, your board's approval, or?
No, I can make that decision.
Okay.
As far as, are you talking about the EDA's membership?
Yeah.
Yes, I can make that decision.
Thank you.
Any other
Do we need
questions?
a motion then?
Or is that something we would do in closed session?
No, you can do it right here
Something.
in open.
You can do it in open session?
Yeah?
Okay.
I still motion that we join at the highest tier at the price point that Leslie's laid out for us at $1,300. In a show of our symbolic partnership. Make
We
sure
can take a
that's
picture of
in
us
the
holding
record.
hands.
Yeah. I'll second that motion. Have any discussion? Got a motion on the floor?
Good.
No discussion.
Okay. Motion's on the floor. All in favor, make known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, we're partners.
Well, we are partners. Thank you very much, guys. This was
Thank you.
very productive.
To get to like the nitty gritty, right? Like how this is going to work going forward. You know, it's probably not sufficient to invite Leslie every quarter to come talk with you guys. There's going to need to be more meaningful discussion. So what I'm going to suggest is an informal social, for lack of a better word, between the EDA and some of your board members.
Yes.
And let's see what ideas come out of it. And we should let the 2035 goals be the kind of the guide, but that's not the be all end all. You know, there's a lot of good ideas out there, and I have faith that putting these groups together, kind of in an informal setting like that, could really yield some results. I don't know how you all feel about that.
Well, you know, we cannot have more than 3 of us
That's right.
at an informal session. If it's 4, it's going to be an official meeting.
That's
It would
right.
have to be called. So I think that would be great to have some of your board members. We meet at front porch coffee and
Yep.
just discuss some general things and, you know, some morning.
Can I throw out, I mean, is there any real harm in it being a formal session? I mean, why not have it an informal, like a get-together, not a get-together, but an open forum for business where we all meet and have,
Well, Roy is
Your own
right that
drinks.
if there are more than 3 of you, then it is an official meeting
understood, but what is the harm in it being an official meeting
in a different setting.
in a different setting? Yes. Just,
Like,
There's
does
no
it
harm,
have to
but we
be,
do have to publish that.
Yeah.
Because it is open to the public if they,
like, notes have to be
Decide.
published, or just,
I'm sorry.
do you mean like minutes have to be published?
We would technically have to take minutes.
Yeah.
it don't have to be the same level that Crystal typically takes though, right? There's a discussion.
Well, sometimes
Yeah.
we haven't been able to get a quorum, so maybe just 3 of us meet one time and then another 3 from the board meet.
That's
discuss
another-
different ideas.
That's another way to do it. But you get what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
We just need to figure out a practical way to do it.
Sure.
But yeah, you know, it could be, I think meeting kind of regularly.
I agree.
And, you know, we're not taking a lot of your time, but, and I do feel like this informal setting I can't tell you how many good things have come out of just like having a coffee with somebody or having a beer with somebody. It really yields some good ideas. So, just a way to chit chat.
That
John's.
VIP opening, that you guys have an invite for, you could,
There you go. I'm gonna get you an invite.
And John is not on the board, so, of the authority. So obviously, he can be there with 3 of us. We could have 4
Okay.
people together. That's not an official meeting.
That's right.
I mean, I know the 2 of us are going to be at the social this evening from 5 to 7, right?
Yes, sir.
At Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
So, you know, there'll be different times of informal meetings. I mean, tonight's not going to be an informal meeting because you're going to be busy as can be. But we can meet some more of your members.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's going to be a great event tonight.
Good.
And also, anytime, the chamber office is there, it's beautiful, so we're also welcome to meet there.
And, you know, those are good meetings. I went to the one at Jackie's at
Yes.
weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great meeting,
was.
and that's the first time I've been in the store.
Yeah, yeah,
Got some nice
exactly.
things in there.
It's great networking opportunities for me, that's for sure.
So we have big plans. It's exciting. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you.
Leslie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, you're good to go, unless you want to stay for the rest of the conversation, but it's up to you.
I have a little bit on my plate, so
I bet you do.
I'm gonna bow out.
Thank you, Leslie.
guys very, very much.
Nice to
Thank you.
All right, help me. Do I go out this way?
Yes.
That's where you're parked.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
But
Yeah, John, thank you for inviting Leslie. That was good. So other business, EDA grant program updates and website development.
All right, I'll make
You
this
were
quick.
gonna take care of-
I know I promised you some changes to our grant program, and I know we have a website committee. It's been kind of inactive. So with the website, what I've finding is that, so I sat in on a presentation by Civic Plus, which is a really large website developer. A lot of municipalities use Civic Plus. A lot of EDAs use Civic Plus. And what I'm finding is that if we go that route, there's a lot more to it. I've had some discussions with Glenn about like what goes into it. So I need to do some thought on the front end before we go charging down that path. So let me do some more exploration on what's the best path forward, because ultimately what we want is something that integrates well with the county's website.
Yeah.
So,
And front end, by front end, you mean strategic alignment with content goals, or you mean the tag?
no, you got probably some of that.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, and so I would involve you all in that discussion, you two in that discussion, our website committee. And as far as the changes to the grant program, I've essentially taken the application off one page. It's roughly 3.5 pages now. I've integrated the questions are a little bit more robust, and they involve alignment with the strategic goals of not the previously adopted comprehensive economic development strategy, but the one that was adopted in 2022. And I'm going to finalize that, and I'll probably share it with you guys in the next week or two. I'd hoped to have it to you today, but some other things took precedent. And I mean, right now, the grant application program works pretty good, but I want to improve it so that applicants like Thomas have a better idea of like what you all are trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
That it's not just, oh, I need money. So I think I've done that, and I've gotten some examples from other EDAs. And anyway, so I'll be sharing that with you soon. And so to allow enough time for a closed meeting, I'll leave it at that.
I have a question
Yes.
that we've really never discussed in the EDA, but you know, our floating the bonds is where we were traditionally getting our income. And we haven't had any of those for a while, even though Dan Siegel's supposed to be keeping his eye out for us. In the 2035 plan for Lancaster, one of the things that we're hitting on as hard as we can is affordable housing. And at our last meeting, we discussed the Mercer Place that was put in years ago, and Jimmy Carter got back to us, and the rent on Mercer Place, I think, was almost all-inclusive, and it was under $850 a month. And we need something like that. If we can float a bond, we're able to float up to $10 million. I know interest rates have been high, they're coming down, and that might be the hesitancy, but would the EDA, John, be instrumental in trying to get a $10 million bond to do another Mercer Place type of development? We've never discussed that with the 2035 committee.
Yeah, I've had the same thought. And there's other functionalities that an EDA has. I know examples from across the state where EDAs have been, where counties have actually taken land that they own and given it to the EDA, because an EDA can then offload that land without having to go through a procurement process. And that saves on development costs. So some housing redevelopment authorities have worked together with their EDAs. And then also with the bond issuances, I would love for you guys to be able to issue more bonds. I would love to improve how we shop those bonds around. And I know because of the fees that we charge, we're not always competitive. But I think your idea for Mercer Place is a really good one, and that we should have a further discussion with Jimmy and with Bill. I know Jimmy had a discussion with Bill Warren.
With Bill Warren, yeah.
And Bill's promised me earlier this year that he'd be able to give some of his time to help explore the expansion of Mercer Place and doing additional housing projects like that. So I think that warrants a discussion.
Well, the amount of money that we get on a $10 million bond is only $12,500 a year. But that's $12,500 a year, year after year after year until that's paid. So, that's one way to try to build some money. And obviously, we have to go after other kind of grants. And that's where your help is going to be great for us, because we need to go after the state or federal government to try to get grants for EDA. We need to get money in, as you know. We're working off the what was it, the Good Luck, no, not the Good Luck property,
Yeah, that's right.
is that the
Yeah.
fund that we have of money, we
Oh, no.
60,000.
No, that was from the poorhouse tract.
That's right, the poorhouse tract, yeah. And, but that's a, limited amount of money. We're gonna have to go after it each year to the Board of Supervisors. We asked them last year, we did get $60,000 from that, but we don't have much money coming in, so I'm trying to think of where we can put bond money into in creating some income for us, and also helping the community with affordable housing. So let's all think about that. And John, we'll get together and talk about that maybe the next 2035.
No, I agree. And, maybe we loop in Dan on that conversation.
Sure. Is there any other new business? Anybody want to discuss anything else that we're?
I'll just say that, Roy, I have the rundown that I provided to CBRAC, kind of our activities and where we stand on each strategy. I'm going to send that to all of you, so you guys have an update of what CBRAC's doing. I should have probably done that a lot sooner, because there's been a lot of activity, and you guys kind of need to be aware of that. So I'll get that to you.
Good.
And try to give you more of a regular update, maybe once a month or every few weeks, of my activities and how it aligns with your strategic priorities.
Yeah, the CBRAC, Lancaster 2035, meets once a month. And we just met, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? About 10 days ago, anyway, and somebody made a presentation on building at the Good Luck properties. And so we're looking at all the different opportunities we can get for affordable housing. That's a critical need for us right now. Any other new business? Okay.
One more thing, sorry.
Yeah.
I've been accepted to the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank's Community Investment Collaborative. It's a community investment training. So between January and May of next year, I'm going to be heavily focused on a project that looks to bring more investment to our community. But there's examples from the 5 or 6 states that the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond serves. And so I look to get a lot out of that. CBRAC, Paul Shakatano, and Jeff Sapersky sponsored me. And so they'll be abreast of what's going on. I'll keep you guys abreast of it. But the project that I chose was the potential for redeveloping the primary school into affordable housing units, similar to a project in South Hill. So I've kind of done a 180 on the viability of that, just based on other examples. So.
I've seen high schools turned into affordable housing in other communities, and I love that idea.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with a developer that's done this all over, and that's what changed my mind is I gained a lot of knowledge from about a 35-minute conversation. And when they found, we called to talk about Good Luck Road, and when they found out we had an old school, they got very excited. So.
That's great. That's awesome. Good
That's it. That's all I
Hearing
have.
no more discussion, let's go into our private meeting. I move that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority adopt the following certification resolution. Whereas the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority convened in a closed meeting on October, October 16, 2024, pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote on the notion to close the meeting to discuss grant proposals in accordance with Section 2.2-3711.A.6 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the EDA that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard. And while I'm reading this, is this to go out of the meeting? That's to come back. That's to come out of the meeting. Okay, well, I've got the wrong one then. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Let's start over again. I move that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority enter into a closed meeting for, one, grant request per Section 2.2-3711.A.6 of the Code of Virginia, 1950, as amended for the specific discussion or consideration of the investment of public funds where competition or bargaining is involved and where, if made public, the financial interests of the governmental unit would be adversely affected. So we are now in closed meeting to discuss the grant request. Okay. I move that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority adopt the following certification resolution. Whereas the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority convened in a closed meeting on October the 16th, for 2024, pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote of the notion to close the meeting to discuss grant proposals in accordance with Section 2.2-3711.A.6 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the EDA that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting to which the certification applies. And two, only such public business matters as were identified in the notion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which the certification applies. Before a vote is taken on this resolution, is there any member who believes that there was a departure from the requirements of number 1 and number 2? And if so, identify yourself and state the substance of the matter and why your judgment it was a departure.
Only
Hearing
thing
the-
is, it is the 17th, it's not the 16th.
The 6th, okay, the 17th.
17th.
Sorry, yeah,
That's
I'm
what
day
Sandy
behind.
had.
Thank you. Okay, hearing no statement, I call the question for the vote. Mr. Carter, I certify. Mrs. Bryce Rowland,
I certify.
Mr. Saunders,
I certify.
Ms. McLaughlin,
I certify.
Mr. Rice,
I certify.
Mr. Barrett.
I certify.
This certification resolution is adopted. We are now in open meeting again. So after discussing this, we need to take a vote and have a motion on the floor for the application from Home Access Solutions in the amount of $7,500 is his request. This is the only request we have at this quarterly meeting.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we award Home Access Solutions $7,500 for his inventory startup.
I'll second.
Okay, we have the motion on the floor has been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Good. So that motion passes. And you'll give Thomas a call? You want me to call him?
Yes, I will.
Okay, good. So you and Don can both sign the check, right? Or do I need to?
That's correct. We can both sign the
Okay,
check.
good. All right, good. So our next regular meeting is Thursday, January the 16th, 2025 at 8:30. Is there any further discussion, any new discussion or old? No discussion. I call adjournment to the meeting.